All right, we are now live. So we're here. I love seeing all the people that are now jumping onto this webinar. So cool. Glad you guys are here. Glad you guys are with us. I think it's so crazy to me that there's all these different people joining in, and I have like no idea where any of them are or when any of them are where any of them are from. I know that might sound like a little weird and intense, but it's always just so interesting to me that you can be on Zoom and then everybody's in a different place in a different location. But for my panelists that are here, so Bree, Mateo, Brooke, and Alex, where are you guys each zooming in from today for this webinar?
I'm zooming in from Orange County, which is located in Southern California.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Mateo, what about you?
I'm actually zooming in from Azusa, California right now.
Nice, same here. Alex?
I'm at Tahoe up in Northern California.
So fun. Brooke, where are you at?
I am visiting my family in Montana, so really nice to be up here.
Very nice. So cool. Yeah, it's always really fun to me how people are like in different spaces when we're doing things, but then I just feel bad for my friends that live in different time zones and are doing like online school. Like I had a friend who had to fly back to, Hawaii because that's where home is for her, when we got sent home from COVID. But it was awful because she had an 8 a.m. class, but that's 8 a.m. Pacific time. So she was in class at 5 a.m. Hawaii time. I would just drop. I don't think I would be able to make it to that morning class. Like 8 a.m.s are already hard enough. I don't know if any of you guys are a morning person or not, but 5 a.m. and to sit through a class and a lecture, I couldn't do it. I think the earliest class that I ever had was a 7:40 class at APU. But what about you guys? Did you guys have anything earlier than that? No, just me. Okay. Well, it was great. I only took it because I had to, but also because my roommate was taking it at the same time. So we like motivated each other to like wake up and actually go to class instead of like debating every day if we actually should go to class. Well, we still did debate, but we would go together, which like made all the difference. So highly recommend if any of you end up coming to APU and you end up taking classes here and you take a morning class, just make sure you do it with a friend because it makes such a big difference. But yeah, we are going to get things started here in just a little bit. You guys can see we have a little Q&A box. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and start sending those in the Q&A. We are going to get to those towards the end of our time here today, but we are here for you. We are students and staff members of APU, and we want to answer any questions that you might have. So once again, we'll get started in just a little bit, but any questions you might have, send them in the Q&A, or as we start talking and introducing ourselves, just keep them coming. Literally, we are here. Again, we are here for you. We are here from you in California and in Tahoe, which is also in California, but Northern California and in Montana. We are ready for all of those questions. Alex, are you there? Like, are you originally from there? Or are you there for like something different?
So I'm originally from Auburn, which is like a really small town. It's 45 minutes south of Lake Tahoe, but I just tell everyone I'm from Tahoe because nobody ever knows where Auburn is. But yeah, I grew up here in Auburn and decided to come to Azusa because I wanted to be down in Southern California in the city instead of up here in
Very nice. I get that. I'm from Portland, Oregon. And so the idea of moving from rain 9 months out of the year to sun almost the whole year was pretty much a dream come true. But now my parents visit me all the time, not with COVID, but they came down all the time to see me, but also to see the sun, also to see the warm beaches, also to see Disneyland, also to see In-N-Out. Really, I'm just their excuse to come down here, and then everything else is like a bonus. But anyways, enough about me. We are going to go ahead and get things started. So we are so glad that all of you attendees are here, that you are here to listen and learn more about APU. So like I said earlier, our goal today in this next hour is to educate you about APU, to tell you what the experience is like here for us as students, to tell you what it might look like for you as a potential student, to talk about maybe a couple majors, whatever that may be. So in just a little bit, we're going to introduce ourselves, but I'm going to tell you kind of how this thing is going to go. So we again are here. Any questions that you have at any time, send that in the Q&A. Brooke, who is one of our admissions counselors, might be answering those, but at the same time, we're going to get to them in a little bit. So in just a moment, I'm going to play a video for you guys. You get to see a little bit of what a student experience is like here at APU. We're going to come back, and then all of us panelists here are going to introduce ourselves so we can tell you a little bit about who we are, about what we're invested in here at APU. So if you have any questions specifically for one of us, send that in the chat as well. We'll play another video, and then we will come back to us, and then the rest of the time is just going to be us hanging out and answering any questions that you might have. So whether that's student experience, whether that's admissions, whether that's about majors and minors, sports, whatever it may be, send those in our Q&A, and we are going to do our best to get back to each and every one of those. So to kick things off, I'm going to share my screen with us, and we are going to watch a quick video.
Hi, my name is Hannah, and I'm a sociology major, and I'm a senior. Initially, I actually came into APU with a different major, and I was really excited about that major, and I took a bunch of classes, and the people were amazing, and the professors were awesome, but when I started to get deeper and deeper into it, I decided that I wasn't super sure about it anymore. So then I actually applied to study abroad in South Africa and got accepted. Entering it, I wanted to be as open-minded as I could and understand that people are incredibly different and enter that with just grace and so much love. Sitting and listening to someone and learning their story and appreciating them is something that is so essential to just sharing the gospel and being a disciple of Jesus. I completely changed my mind and wanted to become part of the sociology major. Jesus was like, Hannah, you're gonna do this instead, and I want you to do this, and you're gonna thrive in this. And then I entered the major and met so many so passionate professors that just wanted to sit down and wanted you to excel and wanted you to succeed. And I felt like I was a team with them. I can just have so many different conversations where people can sit down with one another and be willing to listen and be willing to challenge one another and say, okay, tell me why you believe that, or tell me why you think this should change. Sociology majors are some of the most passionate people I've ever met, and I think that I'm really lucky and so honored to be a part of that.
All right, so that is our friend Hannah. She's freaking amazing, as you can tell. But yeah, now I'm gonna give all of us here a chance to introduce ourselves. So I'm gonna hand it off to Brooke first, and then we'll just kind of go through the line. But Brooke, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here?
Yeah, thank you so much. So my name is Brooke. I am an admissions counselor at Azusa Pacific University. So I might be your admissions counselor, I don't know. But I'm really excited to be here today and get to talk with all of you. I've been at APU for a little over a year, and I'm working on my master's in business management as well.
Awesome, so good. Bree, why don't you go ahead and go next?
Yeah, so my name is Bree. I am a social work major at APU, and I'm a junior.
Awesome. Mateo, what about you?
Hey guys, my name is Mateo. I'm a junior psychology major here at APU. I have some experience working on campus dining, as well as I have some experience with our ethnic organizations as well.
Fantastic. Alex?
Hi, my name is Alex. I'm a junior / senior. I'm a kinesiology major, and I also am on the club volleyball team as well.
Yeah, so as you guys can see, we got a variety of different majors here, a lot of different interests and things that we're involved with. My name is Natalie Day. As you guys know, I'm a senior here at APU with a major in communication studies, and then I have a minor in youth ministry. So I've worked on campus. For the last few years, have been a young life leader through APU. And then my favorite thing is that I studied abroad. So if you have any questions about that, then go ahead and let me know. But again, we are here for you guys. So I can see you are already sending some questions in the the chat or in the Q&A, which is fantastic. Again, we are trying to get to as many of those as we can, and Brooke's going to be answering some of those individually too when it comes to more admission specific stuff or about kind of what next year is going to look like. So thanks again for being here. I'm going to play another video for us, and then we are going to go ahead and get started with this Q&A. It's always so stressful sharing my screen multiple times in a row. All right, here we go.
Hi, my name is Kylen Brooks. I'm a junior here at Azusa Pacific, and I'm an entrepreneurship major. I was doing my accounting classes, and I was really just struggling the entire semester trying to get all the work done. And I was like, I really don't want to be an accountant. And it just like clicked for me right there. I was like, why don't you start your own business? My accounting professor was the one who encouraged me to pursue entrepreneurship. He actually told me a couple of his life experiences as an entrepreneur, and he kind of encouraged me more so to do it and told me the path I can take with it. I believe the leadership here from all the professors kind of guide the students to follow the correct path that they want to do and not something that someone else told them to do.
All right. Great. So we're going to go ahead and get these questions started. Let's see here. So it looks like we already have a lot of questions about the freshman dorm. So Mateo, do you want to share a little bit about your freshman dorm experience, kind of where you lived and what that was like?
Yeah, definitely. So my freshman year, I lived in Inkstrom, which is one of our residence halls. It's a really cool building. It's suite style, which means you don't have communal bathrooms. Instead, 2 rooms share their own bathroom, which is really nice. You don't have to worry about, public bathrooms if you're not comfortable with that. I definitely wasn't. But also too, the dorms are really nice and they're very comfortable. You have your own AC too, which is really cool. Little ad for Inkstrom. My freshman year, I lived in what's called the Living Learning Communities for the psychology program, which means I was dorming next to people who were also in my core classes. So that includes my GE classes and my psych classes. And it was really cool because like you can hang out with somebody in their dorm and say, hey, oh, we got to go to class. Let's all go do it. So it makes you feel like you're a part of more of a school setting, which is makes you feel more familiar, from coming from high school and things like that. So it's really nice. And I really love the community that APU had there, in all freshman dorms. They do a very good job at Residence Life of just creating a very warm community, a very active community. There's always something happening, and it's all very positive and very welcoming as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Bree, where did you live your freshman year?
I actually lived in Adams and Inkstrom.
Oh, tell us about that.
Yeah, so in Adams, I lived there for about half of the first semester, and I had a really nice roommate. And Adams is a really nice all-girls dormitory, and instead of having the shared restroom as Inkstrom does, it kind of has a communal style restroom, which was really nice because in Adams, they use that as like a sense to build community and kind of learn that, and as well as meet other people. And then Inkstrom, he already talked about Inkstrom, but yeah, Inkstrom was really nice. And yeah.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, we have 3 different freshman dorms here available at APU. So you heard about Inkstrom, that is one of our co-ed dorms. So we have separated by floors, guys on a couple floors and girls on a couple. And again, it's like a suite style. And then we have our Trinity Hall, which is also a co-ed dorm. So that's community style bathrooms, but again, separated by floors for guys and girls. And then we have our Adams Hall, which is an all girls dorm and also community style bathrooms. So you really can't go wrong with it. There are plenty of, again, we have those 3 options for you. Typically, if you're like Mateo was saying, how he got placed with people that he's studying with, like if you're involved in sports, you're going to be placed with other athletes. If you're in our honors college, you're going to be placed with other honors college students. And then we also send out questionnaires for you guys to fill out as well once you are accepted and start looking forward to what the freshman dorm experience looks like. But again, plenty of different opportunities for you when it comes to that. I'm seeing some questions here about chapel. Alex, do you want to tell us a little bit about your chapel experience and kind of what that looks like for students here at APU?
Yeah, so chapel right now, unfortunately, is online, so it's a little bit different, but chapel in person is really cool because it's like everybody gets to come together and you all get to worship like God together in one space, which I think is like super, super amazing. And it's like we have our band in the beginning, and so everyone's like worshiping and talking and stuff and just having a good time. And then afterwards, like want to say it's like 30 minutes. Like we have someone comes, either like someone who's one of our like pastoral speakers, or we have someone who comes from like the community who's like a pastor at a different church, and they get to come and they talk to us about like our theme of the week, or like what our topic is of the day, or stuff like that. So it's really cool. So it's like each week it's either building on top of something depending on which chapel you go to, or there's like a theme of the week, which like kind of either is like during finals, like we talk about like how to like de-stress, and like how like God can come and like help you in like those kind of ways, and how he can help you like through your finals, and how he like is making a plan throughout your life. So it's a really cool experience to be able to like share that with other people as well, instead of just like having it on your own.
Yeah, definitely. Chapel's a huge thing here, as Alex just said. I love how they really tailor it to us. Again, pretty much exactly everything Alex was just talking about. But I remember there was one chapel where we sang a Bob Marley song. And it's like, it's just kind of nice to go and sing, Don't Worry, Be Happy, and like kind of move on and see what's next. I want to ask this one's for all of us. So there's a couple questions about students wanting to know about like majors and what that looks like, course load. I know, Alex, you switched your major. You can talk a little bit about what that transition is like, but I want to hear how you guys decided your major, and then what that's kind of been like for you, and then as well as your minor, because I know once you apply and get closer to being a student at APU, it's when people are allowed to kind of pick their major, and you can add a double major or a minor whenever. But let's hear from you guys about kind of how you went about that process.
Yeah, I'll go first. So I'm a psychology major, and I kind of knew that I wanted to do psychology before I came to college. I was very kind of engrossed in the whole mentality of it. I had a passion for talking to people and things like that, and I was kind of interested in doing that for a living. And then I went to the psychology program, and I've been in it for about 3 years. And what I can say about it is, it reminds me all the time of why I chose the psychology program here at APU, and it's really because of the professors and just the way that the programs run. Our professors are super cool. They're probably the most understanding people you'll meet. Most of them, they'll just, if you don't get a concept, they'll invite you to coffee. You can go get Starbucks, and they'll sit down and talk some things over with you. I've missed class a couple of times, and I've had professors come out and reach out to me and say, "Hey, you missed class. Let's talk about this. We have a quiz coming up at the end of the week. Let's figure it out." So they're really understanding. They really care about your personal growth as well. They care about how you interact with the material. One thing I've learned about the psychology program is as much about you becoming a good psychologist as also just learning about the material. So that's something I definitely love, and it really makes you passionate about it.
Yeah, awesome. Who else?
So I've always kind of known that I wanted to go into a field to help people, and I just fell in love with social work when I learned what it was about. So I knew I definitely wanted to go into that field. And the reason why I picked the social work program at APU is because of the professors that Mateo was talking about. It's the exact same way in social work, and also the hands-on experience. I feel like working with people, you need to have experiences with that, and it's not just all textbook definitions and whatnot. So I really enjoy the fact that APU will actually go out and place us in the field and in positions where we can volunteer, give back to the community, as well as gain some more knowledge.
Yeah, so I was originally an allied health major when I transferred into APU. I'm a transfer student, by the way, if there's any other transfer students. Yeah, so I transferred into the allied health field. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I very first transferred into APU, but I knew I wanted to do something within the medical field. And so the allied health program is like super, super broad, and I loved it. It was such a good program, but I really wanted like a more hands-on experience, and I knew that I wanted to do something more like that was in the sports kind of field. So I transferred, and I just changed my major to kinesiology. And the kinesiology program, I haven't unfortunately been able to like actually like get all the kinesiology experience because I just transferred into it, and we've been in COVID and on Zoom. So, but what I have learned from them is like all the professors are super caring, and they're all willing to help us, like even through Zoom. Like they're giving us labs that we can do at home and like still get that like repetition and like learn it. And like they're just doing like every single thing that they can to like help us be able to like be like we were in a classroom setting, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, one of the great things about being a student at APU is that because we are a smaller university, we actually we have a lot of smaller classes. So you're going to really get to know the people in your classes, your professors. That's my favorite thing about being a student here is that I know my professors. I sometimes call them by their first name, or I can call them up when I need them. Like, they are there to get to know you as a student, but also just as an individual. It's really, really special. I see a couple questions about study abroad, so I'm going to answer that real quick. And then I'm going to invite Brooke to join us and talk about the nursing major, because we've seen a lot of questions about that. But so for study abroad, anybody can study abroad. That's one of the great things. We have it for our nursing students, for anybody studying anything. They work really well with your schedule. So what that looks like is that you would study abroad. We have our South Africa cohort and our Ecuador cohort, which are the primary ones that we have. And you would take general education classes. So I went second semester my sophomore year, and I took history, I took biology, I took one of my biblical courses there, but it was all GE classes, and none of it was related to my communication studies classes. So regardless of where you're at and what you're studying, then a study abroad is an opportunity for you. If for some reason one of our study abroad options doesn't work for you, we also partner with other universities and organizations to make sure that you still get that study abroad experience and get to have those classes. But now I'm going to ask Brooke to come on and talk to us about the nursing major, because we're getting a ton of questions about that when it comes to the coursework, when it comes to applying, when it comes to deadlines. Can you kind of speak into what the nursing program is like here at APU?
Yeah, so we have an incredible nursing program. Our nursing program is top 10 in the nation, which because of that, and it's such an incredible program, it does make it a little more rigorous. So our deadline for our nursing program is November 15th. And what that looks like, I know we have different people from all different points of life, but basically you'll want to have everything turned in by that November 15th deadline. So if you are a junior, you can already kind of start compiling what you need to have finished. So you'll need to complete your application, turn in your transcripts, test scores, if that's applicable, everything like that. And then what happens is we have our nursing board review your application kind of between November and January, and they sort of decide who they want to admit. And then right now we're currently working on letting those nursing students who applied by the November 15th deadline just a couple of months ago, let them know if they've been accepted to the program. So that's sort of the structure of how you'd be admitted to the nursing program. And then, yeah, the courses are all kind of included. So at APU's nursing program, it's a direct entry program, which means that if you're admitted to our nursing program, you'll begin right away. You won't do prereqs and then apply again to be on our nursing program. You just start immediately, which is great because you get the opportunity to kind of have more hands-on work and do some more labs and things like that as well. So it's a really great program. And I'm not shocked at all that there's a ton of questions. If I missed any, Natalie, just remind me, but I'm trying to look through really quick and see if there are any others.
Yeah, I think you got them. I saw one more question about difference between like spring and fall cohort. Basically, they randomly place you in a cohort. So you would graduate in either in 4 years or 4.5 years. So for example, I have friends in the nursing major. One of them is graduating this May and another one is graduating in December. So that's just how they set it up, and they navigate classes and clinical rotations and all that. So you would randomly be placed in one of those. But that's kind of what our nursing program looks like, and hopefully you guys get a better understanding of that for those who are interested. But now I'm going to turn it back to us students. There's a lot of questions about what are some fun things to do on and on campus. So I want each of us to kind of answer a question that we might have, or answer that question of what is one thing that you got involved with on campus. I know Alex can talk about volleyball, and Mateo and Bree can talk about clubs. For myself, let's see, what did I do on campus? I kind of just walked around and hung out with people. The great thing about APU is that you're going to know people and you're going to see people, but there's a lot of different fun things that we have just planned throughout the week, a lot of different events, a lot of different fundraisers to be a part of that you can join. We have open mic nights for those who are musically gifted, unlike myself. Don't get me wrong, I love karaoke, but can't sing professionally. But off campus, we're in LA County, so Los Angeles is just around the corner. So I've loved going down to Los Angeles. I love going to Orange County and going to Disneyland. The Griffith with Observatory was probably my favorite place to go because it's free and it's like 40 minutes away. We're a mile away from the metro station, so you can hop on the metro at any point and take it all the way to Santa Monica or something. So there are, as for where Azusa is, there's a ton of different things that you can go to if you have a car or if you're comfortable using the metro. We have a lot of small businesses in the Azusa area that you can go to get food. I go to Taco King pretty much every Wednesday, which is just around the corner because they have amazing tacos. It's Taco King. So lots of things to do, plenty of things in the area. But Mateo, do you want to talk a little bit about what fun things that you've done on and off campus?
Yeah, definitely. So something really fun I did my freshman year was I joined the Pacific Islanders organization, which is basically our club, one of our ethnic organizations here on campus. And it was really cool hanging out with people from my own culture and kind of learning about different islands and different, peoples. And it was really fun. Something really cool that we do every year when we're on campus is we have what's known as our Souls of Polynesia show, which is kind of a performance theme along with dinner if you buy it. And it's basically a showing of all of our different cultural dances. So it's just a lot of fun. I had, so much fun doing it, made a lot of friends. First time I had ever done any kind of dancing like that culturally. So it was a lot of pressure, but I had a lot of good people around me. Off campus, yeah, like Natalie said, I just travel with my friends. We're about an hour away from the beach and you could drive an hour the other way and get to the mountains. So it's kind of, California's a really cool place that way where you can be in completely different climates and still be in the same time zone. It's really great. So that's kind of one of my favorite things to do is just go on road trips with my friends and just drive and experience things. So, definitely a fun thing to do.
Yeah. Alex, what about you?
Well, I'm part of the, oh, sorry, I just smacked my desk. I'm part of the APU club volleyball team. So we actually get to compete with like other schools in our surrounding area and we get to like travel like it was kind of in high school. If anyone ever played like on club volleyball team, like you get to travel, we get to go to a nationals every year. Unfortunately, not this year, but you get to play different schools. So we play like San Diego, we play LA, like all the big name schools, like we play them all, which I think is really cool for being like such a small like school compared to all of them. And then something fun that I do like outside of APU is like just hang out with my friends like Mateo and Natalie said, like you just get to go to LA, like you can go to Mammoth, you can go down to the beach. Like we have school dances also as well that are super cool. And like those are always in like cool places like in LA. So we had one, I think it was like at like a memorial place. It was like the JFK or something like that. Not more, yeah, something like that memorial place, but like they like deck it out. And so it's like always like a super cool theme. So there was like a circus one and they have like acrobats and like all sorts of different kind of things there. So they like go all out for these kinds of things, which is really cool.
For sure. Dances are a huge thing. Bree, what about you?
Yeah, so on campus, I like to involve myself in clubs. So I'm a part of Club Social Work, and I'm also a part of MESA, which is a Middle Eastern student organization. So kind of similar to the club Mateo was talking about, but definitely for a different type of student and a different population. But we do want to educate others on what is going on in the Middle East, how to help, and things like that. And a lot of stuff that I like to do off campus is definitely go to LA, the beaches, and also GMR happens to be like one of my favorite places. It's literally like probably 15 minutes max, and it's up in the mountains. So we literally have the mountains, the beach, and the city within a reasonable distance from us. So you'll never run out of things to do.
Yeah, for those wondering, GMR is Glendora Mountain Road. You'll know about it if you attend APU, that's for sure. But yeah, lots of fun things to do here. You will not get bored. I can promise you that. I'm seeing, let's see here. Brooke, I'm going to invite you back on if that's all right to talk about our honors college because we're also getting a lot of questions about that. And then for my other panelists that are students, the next question is, what is your favorite part about APU? So cheesy question, but also a very incredibly important question. So yeah, Brooke, why don't you talk about the Honors College for a bit, if that's all right?
Yeah, so our honors college is a way for you to be able to double major. So you would receive a major in humanities as well as whatever other major that you decide to be a part of. And the great thing about our honors college is that you are able to go to classes and it's very discussion based. So you're really getting to talk and connect with other students in your classes, as well as your professors. So it's much more hands-on, and it's not as much test based, it's more kind of discussion based, which I think is really cool. And then students are able to read some really great works throughout their time. And then they also work on sort of publishing a work throughout their 4 years in the honors program. So that's kind of a cool little perk of it as well. And being a part of the honors college sort of helps you kind of skate by some general education requirements that you'd have to take if you weren't a part of that. So you'll kind of go on a different route and do more classes that are focused in the honors college rather than just some of the other general education requirements that students would be required to take. So if you're interested in reading and writing, I think it's a really great thing to think about applying for. Every student I've talked to who has been a part of the honors college has just had the best things to say and just really enjoys how much discussion and just how much they've learned in those classes specifically.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna hand it over to Bree. What is your favorite thing about APU? What came to mind?
The first thing that came to mind was definitely the professors and staff. They really they're so hands-on with you guys, and it's just such an amazing experience. Because I know in high school I was told a lot, oh, like you can't do that in college, your professors aren't going to care. But at APU, it's the complete opposite. I feel like all of them just ooze caringness about all of us.
Yeah, that's for sure. That was exactly what I was gonna say. Your professors, they just love you. Like they just care about you. It's really sweet. Alex?
I would have to say the people. I mean, the people at APU, like everyone is just like super nice. And like, I mean, when my very first time I came and like visited APU, like this random girl I'd never even met before, like just came up and like gave me a hug. And she's like, I hope you're having an amazing day. And like to me, like I was just like, wow, like you wouldn't go to like a college like normally and like expect someone to just come up to you and like give you a hug, which I thought was like really amazing, like compared to some of the other schools.
For sure. Mateo?
Yeah, my favorite thing is definitely the professors that I've had for my programs and just the way the program keeps you very organized. And definitely their focus, at least from in my program, was definitely around the next step. You know, I've had professors kind of say, matter of fact, it's like when you're in graduate school, Mateo, and I didn't even know I wanted to go, but they're like, no, you can go and you should. And they just, even a professor being able to say that, you know, and just having, just believing in their students, even though, you know, I've only taken 2 classes with them, but they see it and they've offered their letters of rec if I ever ask for one. That kind of thing is just really cool because definitely, you know, it can be scary, especially once you like get here and then kind of looking forward to the end of your, you know, your college time and where you should be by then. And they make it less daunting just by letting you know that you're not alone through it and that someone else sees what you see as well.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of really cool things about APU that we love. Another thing that I love about APU is just how many like opportunities there are to really learn and invest. I've like really realized in the last few years, and I'm going to ask you guys to kind of speak into this too if there's anything, but somebody just asked a question. Well, there's 2 questions that I'm going to kind of like mush together, but one of them is what clubs are there at APU? And then the other one is what is diversity like at APU? So when it comes to clubs, you heard we have athletic clubs. We also have a lot of clubs kind of tailored to valuing and really like celebrating diversity. And so we have like a Black Student Association, the multi-ethnic at APU. You already heard Mateo and Bree talk about what clubs that they're involved with. There's also different clubs invested in local nonprofits and communities in the area and around the world that students attend and are a part of. So a ton of different things, but I really do think APU is a place that values diversity not only when it comes to race and gender, but also when it comes to what are we passionate about, how we're all like passionate and invested in different things and what we're learning and what we're studying. So I don't know if any of you guys had anything else to mention about diversity or about clubs or what you've been able to attend or what your experience was like there. That's kind of open to all 3 of you, but just wanted to address those questions.
Yeah, so definitely APU makes a great effort at diversity. All of our organizations fall under the Office of Diversity and Reconciliation. So there's an entire office and department dedicated in our college to diversity and reconciling, any kind of things like that. When I did leadership for the PIO club, I had to go through a training called Imago Day, which is basically sensitivity training and understanding biases and what causes prejudice and things like that. And it was a really cool opportunity because it was a place to have those conversations that usually don't happen when people say that they're diverse. It was such a positive thing just to be around people and have those conversations and break those barriers. Personally, I participated in modeling for an event that we have on campus called My Culture's Not a Costume. Basically, we do it right before Halloween in order to communicate to our students that basically there are certain costumes that are culturally sensitive and it's not okay to wear certain things like that. For me as a person of Islander descent, things like there are certain costumes that make fun of actual cultural messages. So it was a great opportunity to get in front of that, and the fact that the school is sponsoring that and encouraging us to make those claims like that, it's really great and it's really cool. So they definitely do a great effort of it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Alex or Bree, you have anything else to add on to that? No worries. If not, I've got plenty more questions here.
Yeah, I can say something. I definitely second what Natalie and Mateo were saying. And also just the support of the faculty, it's really showing through in our clubs and diversity efforts at APU. So like Mesa is the club that we started over this past summer because there wasn't a club like that. And the amount of faculty that like helped us out and like walked through that process with us and helped us get what we needed to do to make an actual club was amazing. So even if there's a club that you guys don't feel that you belong to, you guys can always just create one of your own. And I know the faculty will definitely be supportive of it.
Yeah. And I mean, again, there's diversity in so many different ways that we can look at. APU is also, we are a faith-based school, so God first is our motto, but we don't require you to be a Christian in order to attend here. So you have students in your classes that do believe in Jesus and people that don't, and people that grew up in different parts of Christianity and what that looks like. So again, we really do welcome all those conversations and really want to embrace that. But moving on to another question, somebody asked about kind of the differences between the two campuses and what is it like having two separate campuses, being on East and West? Does it feel like, is it weird to go between the campuses? Do they feel separate? But Alex, do you want to kind of touch on that? I know you probably had some classes on one campus more than the other, but if you want to share your experience.
Yeah, so for me personally, I've had I want to say 99% of my classes on West Campus. I've only ever had one class on East Campus. So I feel like the school does a really good job of keeping every major kind of in their specific area on a specific campus. So you're not having to be I have this class over here and then this class over here and running back and forth between the two. And if you do have to go in between campuses, they do a super good job of making sure that you have enough time to go in between campuses and get there on time to your next class. And even if your classes are back to back, if you let your professor know hey, I'm coming over from West Campus, they're normally super understanding if you're walking in the door 1 minute or 2 minutes late, as long as you're not coming in 10 minutes late, they're normally super understanding about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. The great thing about being in college, not in high school, is that you get to pick your own schedule. So when the classes are available, you get to pick if you want to take a class at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. We have plenty of options for you. Our two campuses, East and West Campus, are less than a mile apart from each other as well. So you don't have to worry about it being too far. It's probably about 10 to 15-minute walk, maybe 7 minutes if you're late to class and running to class. Definitely been there. We all have, let's admit it. But yeah, the two campuses, it's kind of nice to get a little break in the scenery and have it be a little bit different. This is a very important question. What is the food/dining arrangements like here on campus? Does anybody want to speak into that?
I can talk about that. So basically we have different food options on both East and West Campus. So if you are on one campus, there are food options. We have a little mart called Pause and Go and Heritage Mart inside of Heritage Market. And it's kind of like a 7-Eleven, basically anything you can think of will be there. And then we also have different food places. I believe we have a Chinese place, a smoothie place. We have a plethora of Starbuckses for our campus. And we also definitely have Sam Subs, which is personally my favorite, as well as I believe a Mexican place too. And if that's not enough for you, across every street from East Campus, we have different fast food places. So there's probably like 5 pizza places, like every single burger place you could think of, Panda, sushi, boba, anything you can think of, literally right across the street.
Yeah, plenty of food options for you on and off campus. We also got a Starbucks on campus a couple years ago. That's like a dream come true. So you can use your dining points there, but you will not get tired of the food here because there's so many options for you on campus. There was one question somebody was asking about mission trip opportunities and what that looks like. So I'm going to kind of share a little bit about what that is. So we actually ask all of our students who attend here to complete a total of 120 service credit hours during their 4 years here at APU. And that may sound like a lot, but we really do that because we want you to be invested in your community and the community around you, locally, globally, whatever that may be. We just want to be a university that serves others. So we have opportunities for you to go to Mexico. We've had a 50-year partnership with a community in Mexicali just across the border. So we send students there over Thanksgiving and spring break every year. We also have action teams. So students get to travel anywhere from just going over to Texas, like all the way to Greece or Uganda or Japan on these action teams where they just get to serve. And they're really specific action teams as well. You can go with, if you are involved in one of our choirs or ensembles here at APU, then you are able to go with your choir / ensemble to a different country to serve and to perform. And again, just really continue to do that. So lots of opportunities to serve here and to get those credit hours as well as serve locally and globally. And again, I'll say it, we are a faith-based university, so that's why we do ask our students to attend chapel, to take these Bible classes, to do service, but we don't require you to be a Christian. So while you will be attending a faith-based school, your own individual faith does not need to line up with that, because we want this to be a space where anybody and everybody is really welcome to be here. I'm trying to sort through these other questions. Let's see if there's anything else that we can touch on. There's just so many. I'm so overwhelmed. There is a shuttle between the 2 campuses. I don't know if we even mentioned that. We have a trolley that goes between the 2 campuses. Alex and I are like, oh no, we forgot to mention the trolley. It's like so crucial. But yeah, that runs between the 2 campuses. So if you are not a walker, which many of us are not walkers, then you can take that trolley until your heart is content. But let's see here. So many like little questions about different majors. I don't know. What about the rest of Bree, Mateo, Alex? Is there anything specific as I'm sorting through these that you guys want to address? I'm looking through some of these. A lot of them are really major specific questions that none of us have experience in. But is there anything about your APU experience that you think is worth sharing? Maybe something we haven't touched on yet? I'm trying to think about it.
I'm still trying to think, but I did want to mention that the trolleys do run every 7 minutes. So if you miss one, there will be one right around the corner. So you don't have to worry about that.
Do any of you, I think all of us have a major and a minor. Is that right? No. Mateo, do you have a major and minor? No.
No, I just have a minor or a major. Sorry,
Just a major, yeah. I see a couple questions about majors and minors. You can definitely have a major and a minor if you would like. We do ask you to complete a total of a certain amount of classes by the time you graduate in order to graduate, but having a major and minor is definitely doable, or a double major as well. So if you double major, you might have to take an extra year here at APU, but excuse me, or an extra semester, but it's definitely something that you are able to do.
I did see a question asking about like commuting to campus as well as dorming. And I just wanted to mention that both of the things, like we have communities for both of them. So within the dorms, there's the dorming community within each hall where you have like an RA and build a sense of community and bonding with other people. And if you're a commuting student, you will miss out on that, but you have your own kind of group of people, as we have like a commuters building, and we have like people who will get in touch with you, get you involved with other people, and you will meet other people. So if you do not live on campus, you will not miss out on that sense of community.
Yeah, Definitely. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that, Bree. Yeah, we try to make community a huge, important thing here at APU, as you've heard us talk about that. So even if you are a commuter student or a transfer student, then we have spaces for you, and we want you to be there. Here's a question. How has online school been for each of us? So why don't we each get a chance to talk about what it's like being virtual and what that experience is like, and with our professors and with our classmates. But Alex, do you want to start us off with that one?
Sure. So, at least for all my classes have been online and synchronous. So every day at my specific time that I'd be going to class, I log on to Zoom, and I have my professor and all the people who would be in my class with me, and we're all doing class together, taking notes, doing presentations online. So I feel like professors are doing a super good job of like trying to give us that like on-campus experience, like without actually being on campus. And for all of my labs as well, all of us log on for our lab time. We all do our labs together. Sometimes it's the even professor like doing the lab for us, and all of us taking notes. Like it's just they try to have that like on campus like experience as much as they can give to us during this time.
Yeah, definitely. Bree, what about you? What about your experience?
Yeah, so my classes have been synchronous as well, and my experience is pretty similar to Alex's, with everyone logging on and having the professors be really accessible to us. I did want to mention that, like, although we don't necessarily have physical office hours, a lot of professors do have online office hours to still make themselves accessible to you. And a lot of my professors, I will send them an email, and like within a few hours, not even by the end of the day, I will get a response back, and like them offering to like hop on a phone call with me, or like Zoom it out and just talk to me about what I really need help with. And I just found that like I really appreciated that, especially with an online sense, because I do know that we can tend to feel a little isolated when we're sitting behind our screens.
Definitely. Mateo?
Yeah, my experience has been really positive. I actually, this semester, I'm kind of doing something a little different and taking some fully asynchronous classes, which I basically have 3 classes where I have to be in Zoom class and 2 where I don't. And they're fully online. So that's been a new experience to me. I kind of did that because personally, for my learning style, online class can be hard. I'm kind of ADD. It's hard to sit at my computer all day. But having that freedom and having it be classes that are so very interesting and so things that I am learning about, and maybe it's just not just through Zoom. So even that option right there was been really positive for me, and definitely for people who have that kind of learning style where it's easier to be in person because you can actually talk and really get some reactions from it. I know I am. I'm not a note taker. I just kind of talk it out in class, and then we kind of figure it out. So definitely, it's been positive. It's been easy to adapt because the professors are also adapting as well.
Definitely. Yeah, online classes, they can be tricky, they can be draining, but at the same time, like we've all said, our professors make a huge effort to continue to reach out to us, to make sure that we are on track, that we still get as much of the experience that we can. I have another question here. Mateo, I want you to kind of touch on this one, but what does being employed at the university look like? What does it look like to be a student employee here? What other opportunities are there to work on campus, and how does APU kind of set up their students well for that?
Yeah, definitely. So student employment is actually very organized in terms of finding jobs at school as well. So when you come to APU and you're a student, you're also allowed, you can go talk to the Career Center and get a Handshake account set up. And basically Handshake is just an online kind of mini LinkedIn, I guess, for college students. It's a way we can find internships, jobs on campus, jobs off campus. You have your application and these kind of already uploaded to the website, so you can just apply to somewhere and it'd be an easy thing. So that's a lot of fun. In terms of how it is to be an employee on campus, there's a lot of opportunities. There's campus dining. You can also work in any of the departments, like, what the 3 of us interns do, or you can also work in janitorial, garden work. There's a lot of different options. Security is also one as well. It's very popular. They drive Chargers, so they like it a lot. But honestly, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Basically, what I can say from my experience working at Starbucks on campus was, first of all, their first concern was your schedule, in terms of like your class schedule comes first. So if something does come up and you say, hey, I have like, I have a file to do, or I have a group project that's, it's an emergency right now, only one person's been working on it. They'll understand and say, hey, it's okay, find someone to cover your shift, and, we'll figure it out. And just so there, there's also a cap on how many hours you can work, just so it doesn't overbalance how much time you're spending working on school. So usually they cap you at 17 hours a week, just because that's kind of a good place to stop, where it's not too much where you're neglecting your schoolwork. So definitely there's a lot of support and a lot of opportunities on campus.
Yeah, definitely. Bree and Alex, do you want to speak on your online or experience of working here at APU?
Yeah, so like he said, we do have Handshake, and we also do have like a job fair where you can kind of walk around and talk to different people who hold different jobs, and they'll kind of give you like a flyer of like what's expected for you if you do apply, and like pay and everything like that on campus. And you guys have probably heard all our voices before if you start an application with APU or submitted one, because we do call you guys and make sure that you guys have we answer any questions you have, as well as have your admissions counselor's information. So I feel like you guys kind of get a little inside view of what it's like working at APU just within the admissions office and your experience with us.
Yeah, for sure. Again, plenty of options here at APU to get involved, to have a good time, to work, whatever it may be. Yeah, lots of great things. Looking through more of these questions. How would you guys describe APU's campus? Would you say it's big, small? Like, what is the kind of like general feeling that you guys have when you're there?
I can answer this one. I personally like, okay, even though we have two campuses and it might seem like it's really big, it's actually like for me at least, like I feel like it's kind of like on the smaller side, just because of like when you go to your classes, like all of your classes are kind of like in the same area, and like you're with the same professors and you're with the same people all this time. So you're like seeing all the same people a lot of times, and like you're a lot of classes like you take with other like and other majors as well. Like a lot of classes are like with similar people who like you see around campus and are like friends with and stuff like that. So for me at least, I feel like it's kind of like a smaller campus, but even though it looks really big.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, again, it's just nice to be there. It is really small. It feels small, like it's a good place to be. What do you guys, we kind of already answered this, but is there anything else that you guys do? Like, what do you typically do between classes or like in your free time? Like a typical day at APU, like what is your schedule like? What do you try to fit in? How do you kind of navigate that?
I can answer this one. So every morning back when we were on campus, I would wake up and meet a friend for coffee, and then we'd walk to class together. And then after class, we would just sit on Cougar Walk and do our homework there. And then we just keep going in classes, and in between classes, we'd like grab food, go back to Cougar Walk, and just spend our time on Cougar Walk, because there's always someone that you'll know on there. And like, especially if you're walking past Cougar Walk, you need to like factor in an extra 5 minutes of time before class, because you will run into someone you know, and they will want to see how you are and talk to you.
Yeah, Cougar Walk is the main spot that we have here on campus, and you're going to be on it pretty much every single day. So we have tables and chairs set up. It's right by all of our eateries. It is the place to be. But Alex or Mateo, anything about your schedule or a typical day at APU, kind of what that looks like?
Yeah, my kind of it's kind of shifted around a lot. What I would say is the last time we were on campus, I actually had a car, so it was I didn't get a lot of time to really hang out on the walk, just because I was always driving between campuses and things like that. But honestly, Cougar Walk was like my favorite place to hang out with my friends, especially freshman year, because freshman year you just want to hang out with your friends. It's 2 in the morning. I remember hanging out with my friends outside at the tables until like 3 in the morning, and we were just talking and just hanging out, and it was so much fun. People were running around, and it was a lot of great fun just to have that community. And there's always somebody hanging out and doing something. So if you're like me and you're kind of a homebody, it's just a lot of fun just to know that someone's out there hanging out, and all you gotta do is walk down Cool Walk, and the next thing you know, you have plans for the weekend, which is usually how it works out. Just someone invites you somewhere, and then all right, I guess I'm gonna go in LA this random Saturday. But all right, but it's just a lot of fun like that, where there's always opportunities to make new connections, things like that.
For sure. Alex, anything else to add?
I mean, mine was a little bit kind of different. I mean, me and my roommate were definitely not morning people. So we would like put our classes off till like the like latest we could possible and like sleep in and like go to chapel and then like go back to bed after chapel and then like go to class. And then like we'd have late night classes and like stay up till like 3, 4 in the morning doing homework and like just talking like with friends in the library and stuff like that. And then like you just go to bed and then wake up again at like 11 o'clock, like kind of situation.
Yeah, that's awesome. Again, you really get to make your schedule your own. So you get to decide when you have class, when you work, when you see people, whatever is going to be best. So you can be staying up till 3 a.m. like Alex and Mateo, or you can go to bed at 10:30 at night, just like me. So there are plenty of options for you. And again, this is a place where you get to kind of make that your own. But we are starting to run out of time here, so I'm going to ask each of us one more question. But I want us to each answer, why did you choose APU? So why was this the place that you wanted to be? And I'll start just by saying that I knew, again, coming from Portland, Oregon, I wanted to go out of state and I wanted to go to a faith-based university. And APU hit both those boxes for me, but then they also had a lot more. Again, I love that I got to be at a place that was small where I got to get to know people and feel known, but still big enough where I was meeting new people every time I had a different class. And I think that APU does a really good job, again, of just showing what does it look like to be a place that values God, that values diversity, that values people and community and everything in between. So that's kind of what drew me in there. But Bree, what about you?
Yeah, so I actually didn't know that I wanted to go to APU specifically. And then at a club fair or college fair, I met someone from APU and she kind of convinced me to submit an application. And after I did, I really saw like I visited campus a few times and I really just fell in love with how the people were treating each other there and as well as like the small class sizes and the fact that it was a faith-based community. And that way I could also grow as a person as well as grow my faith as well.
Awesome. Mateo?
Yeah, something that definitely made me pick APU was, first of all, it was definitely the financial aid. I came from I'm a first generation college student. I kind of figured out how to get to college by myself, and I was really nervous about being able to afford college. So APU, the way that they extended their help to me and helped me find different scholarships and programs signed up for was a lot of fun. It was really cool. It made it very easy, a good choice. Secondly, definitely was a psych program. It made me feel safe coming here. I'd done some previous events, kind of like this. I'd taken a few tours of APU as well. And it made me feel more like it was already my school before I came there. It made me feel like I actually had friends there and I knew that I was coming to a familiar place versus, it was basically my choices, APU or the University of Hawaii at Manoa. And, 5-hour flight versus 600-mile drive from the Bay Area. So it was kind of an easy choice for me just to stay on, relatively close to home and also be somewhere where I already felt like I was growing. So
For sure. Alex?
Yeah, so I kind of knew about APU. My cousin used to be the assistant softball coach at APU, and so I kind of went to a couple of games and like got to see the campus. And so when it was my time to like apply for colleges and stuff like that, my cousin like really kind of pushed me towards it just because she knew it would be a school that I would fit into, but then also be someplace like where she knew that I could like thrive and like be super good. So I kind of was a little hesitant at first, and so I decided I was going to go to community college for a little while, and then after thinking about it and like praying about it for a couple of years, I decided that it would be a good school for me to go to, and that they had a lot of things that like I wanted to do as well. So that was also a big plus for me as well.
Yeah, as you guys can see, there are a ton of different reasons as to why we chose APU, why we're still at APU, and why we love APU. So I'm hoping that throughout this event, you got to learn a little bit more about what APU is, some of our majors, some of the things that you can do here, what on-campus life is like, and what your potential experience could be here. But again, thanks for choosing to spend your Thursday evening with us, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your night, and maybe we'll see you here in a year or two. But thanks again for being here, you guys, and we look forward to seeing you next.